that record. Welcome to tonight's Decision December Relationships Part 2, Profitable Relationships Part 2. Now, during Part 1, guys, we were speaking about how to have good relationship with our Creator, how to have good relationship with ourselves. And today we're going to be talking about how to have good relationships with others. And one of the things that I noticed when studying all of the greats, guys, and you can drop in there, you know, some of the greats that you've ever looked at or studied. Every single great, okay, every single one, you know, they learned from somebody. There was some kind of mentorship. There was some kind of training, teaching. There was a successor. There was somebody that came before for them to be able to come after. And one of the things that I saw around relationships, especially when I was looking at it from, you know, a biblical point of view, is that each relationship, for a relationship to work, there's got to be an agreement, there's got to be some humility, but also as well, there is profit in every single relationship. Someone type profit, okay? In every single relationship, there is a profit, right? Now, whether or not you gain a profit or whether or not the other party gains a profit, all right, there is always a profit in every single relationship. And so, you know, when we look at the past relationships that we've had, we can probably remember, okay, we can cast back to a really good relationship that was the catalyst of something, okay, that something good happened to our lives. So I can go back to when I was in the banking world, when I first started out as a cashier. I had an amazing relationship with the manager. And that manager was the catalyst to some of the successes that I had. That manager believed in me. That manager poured into me. That manager gave me information. All right. And so the relationships that we have, the people that we have sowing into our lives, the people that we are sowing into their lives, can really decide on the profit, okay, or the, you know, the fruit, the harvest that comes on the back of the seed of that relationship. Now, let's look at the reverse. How many of you have had a relationship or relationships, maybe with a company, with an individual, or, you know, whoever, where the seeds of that relationship wasn't fruitful? And what happens is when you have seeds of relationships are not fruitful, somebody talked to me in the chat, what are the, you know, what's the outcomes of that? When the seeds are not, you know, when they're not fruitful, when they're not positive, when they're not engaging or edifying, okay, you will then begin to see, I see draining, a breakdown. You will see, I see self-inflict negativity, you know, sour grapes, I can see in the chat there. All right, there's so many knock-on effects, lack of progress. Things can hold you back. And some of you have heard the story that I've told about when I saw a house that I really wanted to buy. And, you know, I was so excited, put the offer in, went home and told, you know, my ex-husband, it was my husband at the time. And he, you know, really convinced me not to go forward with it. And so I pulled out of that deal. And then a year later, I saw that property sold for 1.2 mil from an asking price of 250,000. Right? So negative relationships and negative input, negativity can actually be, yes, a lack of progress, failure, stagnation, can also lead into depression, stress, a lack of finances. And so I really want to emphasize the power of having good relationships, the power of making sure that we're strategic, intentional, and very, very focused on the type of relationships that we have inside our lives. Now, you know, I want to stress this. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about a time where something really good happened in your life, right? I want you to think about a time where something really good happened in your life. Who was the pinnacle person? You know, whether it was you did it, but who was that person? What was that relationship that pushed you over the line, or that encouraged you, or made you, you know, you feel like if it wasn't for that relationship, that, you know, that thing wouldn't have happened in your life? Think about that individual. Think about the seeds that were sown. Think about the, you know, the interactions that you had. a time when you were so focused, a time where, you know, you got something done that maybe you felt like you couldn't get done, but actually when it came to the end of it, it was something that was done, right? And normally we can trace it back to relationships. A relationship. I remember there was a time when I was in the bank and there was a lady that gave me a book. Now that lady has become one of my bestest friends in the world. That book sowed a seed into my life, which catalyzed, you know, so many different successes in my life. I can always trace it back to some kind of relationship, you know, to the point where I know that if things are not going great, it potentially means I'm not surrounded by the right people. If things are not going the way I intend it to be, or things are not happening, it could potentially mean that there is a breakdown in communication, there's a breakdown in relationship, there's a breakdown in environment. How many of you have ever been in a job where when you're there, all you can think about is getting the hell out of there because you can't stand the people that are there? Can we be honest on this call tonight, where you don't want to be there? The relationships are not in alignment with yourself. You don't find their jokes funny. You don't find them funny. The sarcasm doesn't quite make it. You know, you're not enjoying that relationship. You know, you're just there for the check. And as soon as the bell rings, in fact, if you can get out earlier, that's exactly what you're going to do. You are going to sneak off. You're going to pretend that you had lunch 5 minutes later just so you can take an extra 5 minutes. You are going to do everything in your power to stay as far away from those relationships as possible because there's something in your spirit that just doesn't connect. Anybody, put 777s if you've ever been in that environment, or maybe it is just me, okay? I can tell you this now, that if you are not happy with the relationships that you currently have and they are not profitable in your life, then whether you want to admit it or not, guys, there is probably no work, drinks, or staff parties, straight home. You're gonna make an excuse. Everybody's down the park, or everyone's them, you know, saying when they want to link up on the weekend. And in your mind, you're thinking to yourself, I don't even want to be with you guys in the week, let alone to be with you on my day off on a Saturday. Definitely not. But we have to be intentional. How many of you, let's go deeper, how many of you have had a friend since school days, and just because of habit, they've been your friend? Just because of habit, you've been around them for a long time, and you know deep down that those relationships are not positive. You know deep down that that relationship is not edifying. You know deep down that that person isn't necessarily in a position to pour into you, or in a position to make things good for you. But because of habit, you are now in that relationship. So we have relationships formed because of a lack of money. So when it comes to work, you have to be there, because if you don't go there, you're not going to get paid. Then we have relationships because of habit. So basically where we went to school, or where we worked in our first job, or, you know, the college or university that we went to, and we formed friendships based on the personality that we had at that time. And because maybe you've grown now and that person hasn't grown, now there's a breakdown in that friendship. Now there's a breakdown in that relationship because there's a difference of vision. Someone say vision. There's a difference in vision, and there's not an agreement or an alignment with vision. Now, this is very important, ladies and gents, because when there's a disconnect with vision, it doesn't mean that your friend or that relationship has to want the same things as what you want. But what it does mean is that the relationship should be edifying. It shouldn't take you away from your vision. Now, if you are around anything, any company, any person, any groups of people that make you doubt your vision, make you doubt yourself, make you second guess yourself, second question who you are as a person. Have you ever been around people or a person and they make you question yourself, and you start asking yourself, am I a good person? Are you, am I, maybe I was wrong. Like you look up and you see the sky is blue, and they say the sky is purple, and you have to actually look up to check, is the sky really blue? Because these relationships make you doubt who you are as a person. They doubt your conviction. It makes you doubt your vision. It makes you doubt what it is that you're doing. Now, those of you that have been mentoring me by a long time, you know my favorite book in the Bible is Nehemiah. Why? Because when, you know, the enemy came to distract him, and when the enemy was there wanting to take him away from his vision, he said, not right now, I'm building. Now, here's the thing. In this season, I believe that some of you are going to have to turn around and say, not right now, I'm building. Maybe you're building your children. Maybe you're building your friendships. Maybe you're building your business. Maybe you're building your relationship. Maybe you're building your brand. But in this season that we're in, there may be a time where there's some relationships where you have to say, not right now, I'm building, I'm focused. I cannot be distracted in this season. There is something that I'm building right now that requires the right people around me, that requires the right edification, that requires the right type of energy. Let me tell you this, guys, energy is contagious. You're either giving good energy, okay, or you're not. It's that simple. You're right. When you're on the phone with somebody or when you're around somebody, do they feel better off for being around you or do they feel worse? Are you consistent with your energy? Are you someone that says, well, you know, I'm in a bad mood today? Your energy, we got to be really careful about the energy that we put onto somebody. Do you know that energy is something that's transferable? Do you know that energy could actually destroy a vision? Energy could destroy a mission, especially for people that are insecure, people that are, you know, a lot of people validate themselves based on other people's energies. And this is why it's important not to do that. That's why I'm not going to go over it, but we'll have to go back to part one. We got to be confident in who we are. Remember what we said in part one, when we're looking and we're saying, who, me, God, who, me, who, me? Yes, you. You have to be the one to be confident in yourself. And what happens is now I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings because I'm going to ask you this. When you had those wrong people around you, why is it that you allowed those wrong people to stay around you for as long as they did? What was it about you that made them feel like it was acceptable to treat you the way you allow them to treat you? Because we got a soul search right now, and under because Nehemiah didn't care what anybody thought. When he said not right now, I'm building, could that have hurt that person's feelings? Could that have made people feel like they don't care? Could it have made them think like, oh my gosh, this guy, like he now all of a sudden he's got the wall to build. All of a sudden he don't know us little people no more. All of a sudden he's telling us no. How many times have you said, you know, yes to somebody all the time, but the one time you say no to them, it is a big deal. It's a big problem. It's as if you've never said yes to them. In fact, sometimes it looks like they've forgotten all the good that you did based on the one time you didn't do something. And the one time you said, no, you can't attend that family function. The one time you said, no, you can't go to the birthday party. The one time you said you can't give them the money. The one time you said you're unable to provide X, Y, Z. But all of a sudden, you're that bad person. All of a sudden, you're that negative person. No, in fact, being focused on your vision in this season is going to mean that some people are going to be told no. It's going to mean that some people just won't understand you. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes, you know, relationships are for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And so you got to make sure that you understand exactly why a relationship is in place. Now, a lot of the time I've had to have this type of conversation. Girl, it's not you. You are the same. It's me that's changed. Like, those things are no longer my priority. I get it. I failed our friendship because what we used to do back then, I have changed. And so I changed the contract. I flipped the script. It's not you. It's me. It really is me. Like those things that we used to do, I no longer like doing them. In fact, the person that I have become, my muscle has changed. My desires have changed. How many of you guys know that your desire has changed? What I used to do, the turn up in the club, the going to the parties, you know, drinking champagne and doing what, well, not, I still like to drink champagne sometimes, but, right, some of the things I no longer have the desire for. And so we have to be confident in this season to say no, because here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. How many of you haven't liked the way somebody has treated you before? Put a 7 in the chat. Maybe you didn't like the way they spoke to you. Maybe you didn't like what they did to you. Maybe you didn't like the way. But the thing is people only do what you allow them to do unto you. And so you think by being humble and staying quiet, you think by just ignoring it is okay. But guess what? The more you ignore it is the more you allow them to do it unto you. And sometimes, guys, in a relationship, you may just have to say enough is enough. Someone type that into the chat while I quickly just get myself going. We are manifesting health. The enemy is not going to stop us from running this call today, guys. So go ahead in the chat and just type enough is enough, because we're not playing no games today. We definitely are not. We're going to go deep into this. So what is it that made you feel like you had to be in that type of relationship? What is it that allowed you to stay in that relationship for a long time? What happened in your past? What happened in your childhood that made you feel that actually I do not deserve to have high-level relationships. I do not deserve to have mentorship. I do not deserve to have good friends. I do not deserve. Instead, what happens is we negotiate on our feelings. Have you ever had this feeling? I call it Holy Spirit. You guys can call it a gut feeling or whatever you want to call it. But have you ever had this feeling where you're like, something don't feel right about this one? Someone, come on, someone, help me today. I didn't want to cancel this call. Right? I didn't want to cancel this call. Okay, because I'm manifesting health. But you guys gotta help me with this one. Have you ever had that feeling where you said, something just ain't right about this one? I can't quite put my nail on it. I can't quite put my fingernail on it. But I'm telling you something ain't right about this one. You know, one time some people call it intuition, gut, right? Okay, you whatever you want to call it. And let me tell you this, if I have to second guess our friendship, if I have to second guess our relationship, I'm going to take a step back, because we ain't doing that, right? We ain't doing that. That's one thing with me. I'll just be honest with you guys, is if you want to be successful in life, if you have a vision, if you have something that you are building, you don't want to be second guessing the relationships, especially those that are closest to you in your inner circle. Have you ever heard this, that the people that are, I was watching the football the other day, and one of the footballers had his house robbed, so he had to leave and come back. You guys see that? I ain't gonna mention no names, but you guys know who I'm talking about, right? And it transpires that actually the main suspects are close close in the inner circle. Right? Most of the time, the people that have the power to steal from you, whether that be stealing your possessions, stealing your money, stealing your joy, are normally people inside your inner circle that are exposed and privy to information that most people are not privy to. And so this is why you got to make sure that you are very, very strategic and selective on the people that you have inside your inner circle. You got to be strategic and selective on the people that you have as mentors. Okay, you got to be strategic and selective on the company that you choose to keep. You got to be strategic and intentional about the companies you choose to co-sign with. You got to be strategic and intentional about the people that you call friends, because there are friends that can very quickly overnight become enemy. And you don't even know that you have some friends right now that are your enemies. They don't like you. They don't like what you're doing. They don't like what you're putting up on your social media. They don't support you. In fact, they're only watching so that they can keep information and keep tabs on you to make sure that you're not going as fast as what they don't want you to go as far as, so that they can say, okay, she hasn't made it yet. He hasn't made it yet. And so this is why, ladies and gents, you got to be very intentional about what you post. You got to make sure you're consistent, because they are watching. They're ready to take you down. They're ready to go and sit around a table at Christmas and say, hey, I saw that little business you started and quit it. I saw that relationship ended in divorce. They're ready to start to talk about your downfalls, but you ain't going to see them highlighting. You ain't going to see them posting. You ain't going to see them celebrating, but you're going to see them ready to talk about and twist the knife. And be careful as well when your friends are friends with people that are your enemies. Now, why do I say this, guys? Is because ain't nobody should be a friend of mine that is comfortable sitting there with my enemy, who you well and truly know is who is clearly against the vision. Now, that is a conflict of interest. I think the bankers will call it, right? A conflict of interest. So you have to be vigilant in this season, because your friends Your friends are actually having dinner with your enemies. Your friends are having table talk with your enemies. Your friends are sitting down discussing your business with your enemies, whilst you taking that person for a full-fledged friend. I don't know who I'm talking to, guys. Nothing ain't happened to me. I have a good circle. I am so glad that I have the circle that I have, but I don't know why the Spirit is leading me to tell somebody on this call that you got to say enough is enough. This is not time for habit. If you're in a job and you don't like it, make a decision and do something about it. The life is too short for us to be sitting in relationships that are hurting our vision, hurting our feelings, hurting our heart, and hurting our bodies. I'm not going to do it anymore, and I don't want you to do it anymore either. So here's what I'm going to teach you today. There's 3 categories on how you can really understand. This is for those of you that are business people, so you understand exactly how to categorize those individuals that are in your life when it comes to business and partnerships. So the first thing you want to do is you want to understand your confidence. Now, you are blessed if you have 3 to 5 of these in a lifetime. Now, these confidence are what the world would call your ride or dies. These are the people that are going to have your back. These are your runners. They love you. They love your vision. They love spending time with you. They will promote your vision. They will promote your business. They will look up. They love your children. They love your family. They love you holistically. These are the people you can sit down with and you can be real with, and you know that they have your back. How many of you know right now that you're grateful for your confidence in your life? If you have a confidant in your life right now, put a 7 in the chat that you are grateful for. If you are manifesting one, because this is where I need you to make sure that you're bold, and this goes back to part 1, where you have to say to yourself, I deserve to have confidence in my life. I deserve to have good people in your life. So if you are manifesting a confidant, put a 9 in the chat. Because I understand, ladies and gents, that sometimes, especially when you don't have those people around you just yet, I can promise you that this is an affirmation that you want to write down. You want to put this affirmation down to say, good people are coming into my life. Loyal people are coming into my life. Confidence are walking into my life. And this is where you also got to say to yourself, I will trust again. Because of past experiences, what we can do, and I used to do the same thing, is I used to have people at halfway because I'm scared now that they're going to come and hurt me. They're going to come steal from me. They're going to steal my joy, steal my money, steal my, still just do too much. But you have to let it go. You got to write that affirmation down. The good people are coming into my life, and you start affirming those confidants, right? Now, the second type of people are called your constituents, okay? Now, your constituents, ladies and gents, your constituents, these are individuals that if you're not careful, they will look a little bit like confidants, but they are constituents. Now, what are the constituents? They are good for the vision. So they believe in what it is that you do. Maybe they're part of your business. Maybe they are part of the family. Maybe they are part of, your church. They believe in the vision that you have, okay? These people, they believe in the vision, right? But guess what? These are not people that necessarily care about you. So what happens is when the vision is complete, or when the vision no longer benefits them, they go find somebody else. They will move somewhere else, right? They will bounce. They're not loyal to you. They're loyal to the vision. And if the vision or the mission is no longer there, you ain't going to see them for dust, because they were only around for that joint vision. Maybe the vision gave them a monetary reward. Maybe the vision gave them public reward. Maybe the vision gave them some kind of celebrity status or some kind of, some familiarity. So the constituents, they don't care about you like the confidants do. They care about your vision, your mission, and how it benefits them. The moment that benefit stops, ladies and gents, what happens is they find somebody else. They will move on. Now, the problem a lot of you have is you put your constituents as confidants, and when they begin to hurt you, you get upset, you get pushed back, you start to feel let down. But if you only understood that these people were just constituents, they were not your confidants, so you knew that when that vision was over, then guess what's going to happen? They're going to bounce to the next vision. They're going to bounce to the next thing. They're going to go to the next person that could fill that gap. They could even be bribed. They could be blackmailed. If somebody dangles something that looks a little bit bigger to them, that they're going to go in a hot minute because they are only there for that vision. Now, the third type of person, okay, is your comrades. Now, your comrades, guys, they don't care about you. They don't care about your vision. They simply have a joint enemy of yours. Oh, yeah. Come on now. They have the joint enemy. So they will partner with you because maybe you have something that you both hate. So maybe you have a hatred towards homelessness. And so you're going to join vision because you both are speaking about homelessness, right? Maybe you have you have a hate towards scammers, okay? And so you're preaching about scammers and you have a joint scammer enemy. And so you join forces together because you're going to go and you're going to take out that enemy. Or maybe you have joined, you have some kind of commonality on what you dislike. Now, here's the thing about this, ladies and gents. If you ever confuse a comrade with a confidant, you are in big trouble, because they are not going to keep your secrets. They are not there to care about you. They don't care about your vision. They will slander your name publicly. They will crucify you because they are used to taking things out. That's what they do. They destroy, they come to war. And if you ever share your business with these people, the same thing that they did jointly with you to take out the homelessness and to take out the scammer, they will reverse engineer that bad boy and ball out your business. So you got to be very careful when you're hanging around a comrade, because you got to understand that what they do with you, they will do to you. What they do, to the clues with the comrades is to see how they treat people. You see that they don't love people. They're there for their mission. They're there for what they want to take out. They're there to do the job at hand. They don't care about you. They don't care about a vision. They don't care about who you serve. They very simply have a mission. And once that mission is over, you could be the next target. So you got to be very careful with your comrades. Don't share them your business. Now, here's how you get freed, ladies and gents, because when you meet someone, you automatically know in your mind, okay, is this somebody that I'm building a relationship with because I really want to have a relationship with them to make it into something that, could potentially build into, more than just a constituent situation. Or then, you have a relationship with somebody and it's just business. Or it's just ministry, or it's just simply at your job, or it's just simply for what it is, or you have a relationship. Have you ever, guys, this has happened to me a lot, but I don't know about you guys, have you ever publicly said that you don't agree with something, and all of a sudden the algorithms on social media start to share that stuff to you? Like all of a sudden it comes up on there. When I was talking about the government and all of the grants and all of the things that's going on inside the government, all of a sudden Instagram starts sharing with me all this government stuff, right? It starts pushing all this stuff to me. Well, here's the thing. The more you talk about what it is that you're going to talk about, is the more you're going to gravitate the type of people that want to hear what it is that you're speaking about. And so you got to be intentional about being positive and being very, very clear on what it is that you are attracting in your life, because we are who we attract, right? Now, that doesn't mean that, we're comrades. It doesn't mean that we're constituents. It means that there is a part of a constituent and there's a part of a comrade that we ooze to attract them in the first place. Oh, this is going to get good because you thought we were going to blame everybody. No, what we got to do is self-analyze. What about me is it that I'm portraying that attracts these types of people in my life? There was a time where there was a whole bunch of, there was a serious correlation between the types of people that I was attracting and my behavior. I'm just saying, right? And so we got to first take it back and say, let me self-analyze, let me take a look at this. What is it that could be even giving these people a remote piece of communication, a remote piece of idea, or a remote piece of co-signing that this is the type of stuff that I tolerate? Listen, crop failure. We gotta stop that right now. We gotta be like, listen, I don't know maybe I was oozing off the wrong energy on that day, but let me just reverse. Let's reverse. This ain't tolerated around here. Like, this is not what I stand for. And some of us have got to get very, very good at saying, I hear what you're saying, but I disagree. Right? There's a way. You don't have to be confrontational. Like, I've really learned this. I said, okay, that's an interesting viewpoint. I disagree with that, but it's an interesting viewpoint. Right? We've got to be clear, because if you are not clear, if you don't stand for what you stand for, what happens is now we start to stand for everything. We fall for everything. And all of a sudden, we're unhappy with our lives, but actually we manifested that. We attracted those relationships. We agreed those relationships. We co-signed it. They say, if you do me up once, okay, it's your fault. But if you do me up twice, then I have to take ownership, because I'm allowing this repetitive behavior to keep coming unto me. So we got to make some standards here that's not rolling over into January. This is Decision December. We're going to decide in the month of December that I'm only attracting positive people into my life. People that's going to edify my vision, edify me. People that's going to encourage me, that's going to correct me in love. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have disagreements, but here what we're not going to do in this day and age, we're going to have good communication. How many of you want to manifest people that can have good communication in your life? I don't want the silent treatment. I don't want to see how you feel about me on social media. I don't want to hear it from the person around the corner. How about we be grown here and we pick up the phone and we have a conversation? How about we get to a place in life where we can have good communication, that I'm not hearing it in the staff room. I'm not hearing the other bosses talking about my business. How is it that when you're in certain environments, you're in the corporate world, you have a one-to-one with your manager, but yet still the whole office knows your business? Like, we ain't doing that type of stuff. I'm gonna pull you up about it, Mr. Boss, Mr. Manager. We had a private conversation. I'm not really feeling the way that you're speaking to the rest of the staff about my private business. Like, we ain't gonna stand for that in 2023, ladies and gents. We're gonna stand for what we stand for, and we're gonna call it out. It's time to call it out. And so if you know you have some relationships that's dead weight, guys, I said that it is, like no dead weight December. Decision December, okay? We're going to drop it in December, right? Listen, there is one thing I've learned about life is way too short to have, non-profit. Like, a lot of people having non-profit businesses and don't even realize, right? It's a whole non-profit type of situation. We ain't gonna have no non-profit relationships in this season. We're going to decide together that we are going to encourage each other. Not every time I sow into your life do I need to be paid. Not every time you have to say something positive. Like, we've got to get to a place where we're not looking to benefit from being a positive input in people's lives, that actually we come to a place where we're so confident in ourselves that we can give good seeds, knowing that it's going to come back to us. But we got to make a decision in the month of December. Is it a constituent type thing? Is it a comrade? Where are the people that we really want to roll with? Who are they? Who are the type of people that we're going to be rolling with in 2023? And this isn't where you ring people up and you're like, yeah, I'm just letting you know, true, I know you're a comrade, yeah. No more relationship, innit? Like, yo, you think I don't know yet? Constituent, I got you marked, bruh. Like, you don't have to be doing it all overt like that, guys. You just pay attention slowly. And you just go, okay, I know where that sits, because now you get comfort in yourself. Now you know what it is. You save yourself heartache. You save yourself pain. But here's the thing that you must not do, guys, is don't neglect your ride or dies. Because your ride or dies, they just want to spend time with you. Your ride or dies just want to talk to you. Your ride or dies just want to be around you. They love your vision, they love your mission, but most importantly, they love you. And so find time. Have you ever, especially the parents on the call, if you have more than one child and one child needs more attention than others, you sort of give that child more attention, and you got to be very, very intentional to give the child that's not playing up the attention as well. Because otherwise what happens is they think, well, what's going on? What's the point? Prodigal son situation. What's the point of me being here doing all this, and that one's getting a whole party and I'm here doing the whole thing? So we got to make sure that, especially when we got our ride or dies that believe in us, make sure you put an alarm in your phone to check up on them once a week. Make sure you maybe once a month, once a quarter, you go out to dinner. I've been very intentional over the last 90 days. People that I like, people that I want to be around, I'm making sure I communicate with them. I'm doing lunches and coffees and dinners. I am being intentional in this season that if I like somebody, I want to communicate with them. But there's also a thing where you can observe, because you can be like, okay, is it one-sided? Is it a two-sided situation? Because you don't want to be pouring into an empty cup now, right? You don't want to be giving. You got to make sure that there's a profit in that relationship. It doesn't have to be the same way, but there has to be a profit. When I hang around you, maybe I'm the one that, financially may spend on this occasion, but when I'm around you, you pour into me in another way. We fill each other's, areas up. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to go around, doing all of that, but there's got to be a profit. Maybe you speak a good word in my life, or maybe sometimes you babysit the kids, or maybe sometimes you're just there to help me out, or maybe sometimes it's a financial thing, but there has to be a profit in our relationship. Okay. Otherwise, if I'm in a relationship and all I get is drained, I feel down, I feel depressed, I feel like I'm second guessing myself. I gotta wonder, is it shady? Was that a comment? Was that an indirect to me? Like, we ain't gonna do this. We ain't gonna do this. And so we gotta self-analyze, and we gotta make sure that these relationships are profitable. And you don't have to have these conversations. I wouldn't suggest you have conversations and say, you know what, I went on a call and, I had to group my peoples together and decide, like, are you a Conrad or a constituent, or are you a real ride or die? Like, I really wasn't too sure. Like, you don't need to be so overt and have that conversation. But first of all, you got to have the conversation with yourself, and you got to ask yourself, who are the type of people that I'm attracting in my life? What is the value that I'm giving out? Because based on the value that you give out is based on what you attract. Now, I've changed the way that I present myself on social media, right? So when I first came into the industry of coaching, one of the things I used to do is go on and share my story. My baby father left me, I was left pregnant, then I got remarried, and blah, 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 blah. And what did I attract? Because of my story, I attracted a load of people that was, going through heartbreak. I attracted a load of people that were depressed. I attracted a load of people that heard that story and was like, oh my God, I resonate with you. You attract who you are. Or in other words, you attract who you show you are. So I stopped sharing that side of me. Doesn't mean that I'm, that side of me is still there, but I'm intentional now about showing the side to me that I want people to be attracted to. And all of a sudden, I start to attract a different type of clientele. So who is it that you're attracting into your life depends on the type of value that you're giving out. What is the value that you're giving out? When I talk about mindset, there are some people from my old friendship circle that won't join this call because they're not about mindset, right? And so that will eliminate the type of value that you give, will eliminate people straight away, because they don't want to hear you talk about mindset. They don't want to hear you talk about positivity. When they start talking about baby father left and the baby father this and the baby father that, and you're like, oh, look, I'm gonna have to call you back. Just give me a bit because I'm going on a call. Like, every time I hear that, I'm going on a call. I've got to go. I'm out. I don't want to hear. Listen, if I love you, I'll give you 45 seconds of that, and then I'm off, right? That's if we're close. Okay, but we ain't gonna sit on the phone for 2, 3, 4 hours talking about all of this business, because that is not profitable. In fact, I had that conversation about 3 years ago with, somebody, and they were pouring and pouring and pouring. I was sitting on the phone listening and encouraging and encouraging. And by the time I came off the call, I felt heavy. I went on the call feeling good, came off feeling heavy. And you know what happened after that? She messaged me the next day. Oh my God, I feel so much better. Thank you so much. I'm in my mind. I'm like, yeah, of course you do, because you downloaded it all onto me. And now I feel heavier than 200 tons of bricks. Right? So we got to make sure that we understand the levels. People only do unto you what you allow them to do. So this is a season where we now have to have profitable relationships. Number one, with our creator. Number two, with ourselves. And number three, it's part of self-love to actually have, standards around the relationships that you have. I always look at people, there's a lot of people that are into things that, I don't believe that every piece of money is worth having, because I want to do things in integrity. I want to have things done on, the right ground. And sometimes you can see a lot of different people, they're moving and shaking, and they're moving to all these loads of different things. And you can see them damaging people in the process, but they're I'm really concerned. I really look at people a little bit side-eye when I see people that are happy to promote scams, happy to take people's money, happy to do all these little, I call it Mission Impossible money stuff, right? Because it's like Russian roulette out there. They're mixing it up and shuffling it around, right? And they're happy to jump from scam to scam to scam to scam to scam. And they're bringing a whole bunch of people with them. Look, not every piece of money is good money, guys, right? So when we're talking about profitable relationships, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about integrity. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about sowing good seeds in your life. This is not the season for you to just allow any and anyone to speak into your life. This is not the season for you to allow any and anybody to be handling your children, any and anybody to be up in your house, any and anybody to know the codes to your house. Guys, if some random person walked past your house, would you just give them the code to your alarm? No, you wouldn't. And so we got to remain the same when it comes to, ourselves. Love yourself enough to put yourself in environments around good people. Do you believe that you deserve good people? And this is where I'm going to close this call and say this. Some of you right now are not in a place where you're down and out, but you know that you're not where you need to be. You're the type of person that says, oh, I'm cool, I'm okay. Because you're what do they call it? You're sailing, but you're not fully living out how you should be. You're not fully pushing yourself. You're still in your comfort zone. You're not in fully, right? Now, this is where this word is for you guys, where you got to say that I'm going to play with no more doubt. I'm going to attract the right people into my life, and I'm going to allow, this was one of my affirmations. I'm open and receptive to who God blesses me with. That's going to help me to fulfill the vision over my life. I am open and receptive to who God blesses me with that allows me to fulfill the purpose and the vision over my life. Some of you are blocking your blessing from the right relationships because of what happened in the past, because of who betrayed you in the past, what opportunity didn't do you well, or what all of the past stuff that you have in your mind. I dare you to let it go and be open and receptive to who God may bless you. Maybe there's a mentor right in front of your face that's ready to mentor you, but because of your old paradigms, you're not even open and receptive to it. Maybe there's a relationship that's there ready to be formed, but because your eyes are not open, because you're not saying yes, that you are blocking your own blessing. Maybe there is a company right now that want to take you, but because you're so stuck on your old company, the old habits, the old people, that you're missing out on what God really has for you. And I want to tell you guys that say that I'm cool, I'm okay, to stop playing it small. Maybe you're in, but you're half in. You're not fully in yet. You're not fully submerged into the vision and the mission of your life. I want to tell you right now to bring the fire in this season. I need some fire, 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 fire. No halfway, all decided, like you are the evidence that God wants to use to show that he is real. And so you got to make sure that you are bringing the fire, you're bringing the heat in this season, that you attract the powerful relationships, that you are a powerful relationship to have, that you are a blessing to others. So when you speak and you're telling them you're offering, or you're a salesperson, or whatever it is that you are, you say it boldly, confidently, with courage, with that conviction, because you know that you bring the fire in this season. Some of you are playing it way too small, way too small. When you were hungry, you were moving a whole lot different. When you were hungry, you were attacking it like you had nothing to lose. Right now, you're just okay. And this is that thing about moving from good to great. From good to great. You got to move from good to great. No more playing it small. No more playing it small. I believe there's going to be a massive explosion in the month of December. I believe that there's going to be a massive explosion. Maybe for one or two people on this call, there will be a breakthrough, like serious deliverance. Generational freedom will come in the month of December. I believe that there's some of you on this call right now that something's just unlocked in your mind. Like, oh my God, that word was for me. That this is for me. This word is for me. I'm going to unleash. I'm going to unlock. I'm going to launch. I'm going to jump. I'm going to scream. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to allow insecurity to make me stop speaking what it is that I know I need to speak. That I'm going to make sure that I put my best foot forward. If there's a relationship that's not edifying, I'm going to push that into constituent. I'm going to push that into Conrad. If there's a relationship that makes me insecure, I'm going to push that to the side. I'm going to stay focused right now. My breakthrough is on the end of my speech. My breakthrough is on the end of my word. My breakthrough is on the end of my movements. My breakthrough is on the end of my decision. Guys, it's Decision December. And I urge you today to begin to speak. Guys, I'm doing this myself. I've been writing down my affirmations every day, 10 times, right? I have my book. I'm writing this down every single day, 10 times a day. I am sitting here writing out my affirmations. I'm not playing no games in this season. 10 times. How many of you is going to go into the month of December with me, into the month of January with me, writing out your goal? One goal, 10 times a day. I got it on a piece of paper right in front of me. I got it in my toilet. I got it in my car. I'm pushing it to the 10x now. I'm forcing it now because there's so many enemies, so many things want to distract you away from your goal that you got to 10x this situation. You got to get consistent with your goal. Get consistent with writing it down. Start to manifest. Don't knock a relationship that comes into your life to bless you. Don't knock it. Chase it down. Fight to get in the room. Fight to stay in the rooms. Write your goals down and understand that generational freedom. Hey, some of you on this call are going to be the first multi-millionaires of your lineage. And that's going to last for generations and generations and generations to come. Some of you on this call are breaking chains from generations and generations of the past. Some of you on this call have so much on you right now. Some of you on this call have a light on you right now. You have a position. You've got a focus. You've got a thing to do in this world. And you're allowing negative relationships to hold you back, and the positive relationships in your life, you're pushing them to the side because you're so focused on fighting the negative ones. Forget the negative relationship, forget the negative word. Now is the time to focus on those that are positive in your life. In fact, I want to give each and every one of you some homework to do. I want you to message 3 people who are positive in your life. 3 people right now. And I want you to say, you are a positive person in my life. And I'm ready for us to go big 2023. Like, I want you to start to manifest some crazy stuff. You'll be surprised that positive person messages you back and says something you don't even know. But I want us now to stay focused. Don't look at those ones that are whispering the negative words. Forget those things. Focus on the positive people in your life. Every single one of us have positive people. And I challenge you in this season to be intentional about it. I challenge you to love yourself enough to know that you deserve mentorship. Know that you deserve good relationships. Know that you deserve love. Challenge yourself. Don't tell yourself, oh, I don't have good people. Everyone's a snake. If you speak like that, that's what you're going to seek. That's what's going to come to you. Begin to manifest good things. I used to say this all the time. I don't have no friends. Who used to sing that song? No new friends, no new friends. No, stop affirming this stuff because it keeps you lonely. You don't deserve to be lonely. You are not going to be lonely. You do deserve to have positive people in your life. You do. And now we got to just, we got to repent for pushing the good people away. And we got to stay focused and clear the energy, okay? It's not that the constituents and the Conrads, we don't love them. We love them. But now we're just going to focus. We're going to stay focused and run it all the way up. So ladies and gents, I'm so fired up for each and every one of you. Message 3 people that are positive in your life and let them know that they are positive individuals in your life and you are ready. You are ready to take 2023 with them. And so it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what you do. But if they're positive in your life, let me tell you this, successful people in whatever area tend to have similar traits. And that's the energy that you want to ride off of in 2023. Ladies and gents, this is our mindset call each and every Monday. It's either 9 p.m. or